and welcome everybody. So we're continuing on with Unit 3. We are doing another double lesson today, so let's just dive right into this. It should be short and sweet. Today we're talking about agriculture and transportation. So transportation plays a vital role in the operation of agricultural industries, which include a combination of businesses. They use a wide array of products and systems that produce, process, and distribute food, fiber, fuel, chemicals, and other useful products. So we're dealing with another one of these. It's just a very broad definition, but also yet still a very targeted one at that. So similar to manufacturing, there are companies and farmers specializing in primary harvesting, which is the taking of the natural element from the earth, or products from the earth, and other companies and farmers specializing in transforming of the natural elements into products for consumers and other manufacturers. So you have kind of a primary and then you have a secondary. So transportation plays a vital role in the operation of the other technologies such as manufacturing, construction, communication, health and safety, and agriculture. So the transportation systems include intermodal means of transportation, which means air, water, land, and space vehicles. In the case of agriculture, land is the most common mode of transportation. Without transportation technologies, agricultural products would not be able to move from the field to your plate. So some examples of transportation in agriculture are grain elevators, combines, and conveyors. So we're not just talking about trucks and cars like what we're used to thinking about. A grain elevator is a transportation system designed to move harvested grain into silos or storage bins, and may or may not include stations for drying and cleaning of grain prior to storage. So the grain is transported to the elevator and typically arrives on a truck, rail car, or barge. A tripper diverts grain off of the belt and into the desired bin. That can include conveyors, traditional or screw conveyors, direct spouting, and augers. The grain is then cleaned, dried, and stored. The combine is a transportation system used to harvest the grain or other crops. The combine cuts the crops. The crop is directed to a rotating chamber with a series of beaters, and then the crop is dislodged and falls to the bottom. The debris then falls out of the rear of the vehicle. Conveyors are used in a variety of industries, but are specifically used in agriculture to move products in and out of storage facilities. The conveyor belt contains two or more pulleys with a continuous loop of material, the belt, that rotates about them. One or both of the pulleys is powered, called the drive pulley, while the other unpowered pulley is called the idler. If you wish to learn more about the agricultural industry, feel free to visit the website http://www.ag-classroom.org/teen/teen1.htm. Now, oftentimes in engineering, you're going to do something that's called reverse engineering, which is essentially you take a completed product and then you're going to disassemble and reassemble it to figure out how the product was built, how it works, and so on. When you are analyzing the product, carefully document, examine, and analyze each of the subsystems, the structural, mechanical, and electrical, and determine how they interact. Some questions that you may ask during this time are, what are the various subsystems and how of the product and how do they interact? What are the parts of the systems and the various subsystems? You're going to test it, carefully reassemble the entire product and or one or more of the subsystems to determine how the product functions. You may ask yourself, how do the subsystems operate together? When the entire product is reassembled, does the device function? Make sure that you record all observations. Documenting, recording all of your observation. Each step of the process of reverse engineering should be documented. Document all design goals, constraints, functionality, form, or the geometry, and the materials. Develop schematic diagrams that describe the components and the materials and identify the refinements that might enhance the product's usefulness. So as you are reverse engineering, you're also thinking about how to make this product better. So also in this lesson, I want to talk about something that I've used a lot this year, which is telemedicine. The big idea, telemedicine reflects the convergence of technological advances in a number of fields, including medicine, telecommunications, virtual presence, computer engineering, informatics, artificial intelligence, robotics, material science, and perceptual psychology. Telemedicine is the use of information exchanged from one site to another via electronic communications to improve a patient's health status. Examples of telemedicine include video conferencing, transmission of still images, patient portals, remote monitoring of vital signs, continuing medical education, and nursing call centers. So something that I used this year is I had a wound on my leg, and so I contacted my doctor in Chapel Hill. I sent them high-resolution photographs of the wound where they were able to look at it and determine whether or not there was a need for me to come in and potentially risk exposure at a doctor's office where there were a lot of sick people, or was it something that I could maintain and manage at home. I've had enough injuries where I'm pretty good at taking care of them at home, and so they said that unless it gets worse, just stay home. And so I was able to do all of that without actually having to go to the doctor's office. Common practices using telemedicine technology include doctors sending out x-rays to be reviewed by specialists, people in remote areas using communication systems to speak with doctors in another region, and the monitoring of health data such as cholesterol levels for access by doctors or patients. So something that I've seen done, not in person, but I have seen the research that's gone behind it, and I have actually gotten the opportunity to look at some of this equipment. Are doctors in the United States that can perform surgery on patients across the ocean on the continent of Africa. Another one that I personally experienced is that I had to wear a monitor for a little while, and every day at the end of the day I would call a telephone number, and I would press a particular button on the monitor, and it would play noise into the phone, and that noise was essentially a fax transmission that would then print out at the doctor's office for them to review the next day. Other common practices are medical-related images and simulations available as education to patients, phone networks created for in-home caregivers to contact doctors and specialists for treatment decisions. When my stepmother's father was ill, they were able to treat him at home because all of the equipment at his house was networked to the hospital, and so to the doctors it was similar, almost identical to as if he was actually physically in a room at the hospital. Lastly, telemedicine commonly relies on the following technologies: wireless, broadband, and mobile communication devices for video and audio transmission. On one telehealth visit, I couldn't get through on their, they used the program kind of like Zoom. It didn't work, so ended up calling them on a cell phone. Satellites and fiber optics, databases, echocardiogram, and network security systems. The databases is a neat one that I've gotten to see recently. My wife is a dietitian, and we've been able to sync and hook up a computer to where if she needs to, she can work from home. Really amazing stuff that's coming out in technology, and it's really important for you as a student to stay on top of, if not try your best to stay ahead of the technology as it comes out, because it's only going to increase. It's never at any point in time going to decrease within your lifetime. I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, have a great day.